Buying a luxury home in Tucson? Well, before you start dreaming about those infinity pools and jaw-dropping mountain views, there are a few things you need to know that will save you time, money, and possibly a little sanity. Today, I'm giving you 7 things you absolutely must know before buying a luxury home here in Tucson. Whether you're relocating from California, moving up in the market, or just curious about Tucson's high-end neighborhoods, this video is packed with valuable insights. And if you find this helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Now let's jump in. The first thing is that Tucson's luxury price points aren't Scottsdale or LA, and that's a good thing. Tucson's luxury market is refreshingly approachable. So you can get an absolutely stunning home in Tucson around $1 million to $2.5 million. And the crazy thing is that the features that you're gonna pay for here in Tucson, you're probably gonna pay double that in Scottsdale or in California. So when you're thinking luxury mountains, I love luxury mountains, they're laced in gold. Okay. Think about sprawling estates, Catalina mountain views, resort-like pools, all without that sky-high price tag. So most people don't really think about Tucson when you're thinking about luxury properties, but surprisingly, Tucson is a really hot market for luxury. So in Tucson, anything above $1 million is considered a luxury property, and we even have some homes that are up to $15 million. Number 2 is gated versus non-gated communities. If privacy and security are high on your list, you might want to consider one of these gated communities here in Tucson. We have several gated communities that are guard-manned 24/7 to give you a little peace of mind. Ventana Canyon, Pima Canyon, Stone Canyon, things like that. Why did I say things like that? You can just cut that out. And those are just a few examples. And a side note, if you do want one of these gated communities, it's gonna cost you a little bit more on the price tag or in your HOA dues. But if you prefer a more laid-back vibe, there are a lot of non-gated luxury communities here in Tucson as well. They have larger lots and fewer restrictions than these gated communities. And if you're more of an in-between kind of person and you don't want specifically a completely guard-manned community, or you don't want one that has no gate at all, then there's some in the middle where you can have just the gate with a code to let you in and out. Some examples of non-gated luxury areas include like Oro Valley Country Club. There's actually a lot of homes in the Catalina foothills that aren't in Pima Canyon, that aren't in Ventana Canyon, that have large lots, that have no HOA, that are not gated at all. In Oro Valley, you have some gated communities that are not guard gated, such as the Cañada Hills Estates, Push Ridge Estates. Number 3, views are everything and you've got options. You've got mountain views like the Catalina mountain views, the Tortolitas, the Tucson Mountains, the Rincon Mountain Range. Golf course views if you want to live where you play. And then you have city lights and sunset views. Or you can get all 3, but that's gonna come with a little bit more of a price tag. And personally, I think the views here in Tucson are incredible. I prefer a home that has the Catalina mountain views. My husband actually prefers a home that has sunset views. And we all know that the sunset views out here in the West are the absolute best. A lot of people really like the Catalina mountain views because of the Push Ridge Peak. The Tortolina views that you're gonna get, you're gonna have, it always sounds like I'm saying tortellini when I say tortolita. I would love a tortellini view right now. I love tortellini. The Tortolita mountain views, those are more rock formations, kind of boulders, saguaro. You have a lot of different kinds of views when you get with each mountain. When you are looking at each mountain range. I'm so stupid. When you're looking at each mountain range. The better the view, the higher the price, and the more your guests will ooh and ah. Number 4, know the HOA rules and fees before you fall in love with that house. Some luxury communities have HOAs that are really great for keeping properties pristine, the neighborhood pristine. And again, they come with guard-manned gates. Manned guard gates? Guarded gates. Manned gates. Manned guarded gates. So while HOAs are really great for maintaining the neighborhood, keeping you safe, that little peace of mind that you want, one of the things to consider that they are obviously a lot stricter than luxury communities without an HOA. A lot of these luxury communities do not allow you to Airbnb. So if you have a casita that you want to add that little extra passive income by renting it out or Airbnb-ing it out, you may not be able to do that. So those are things that you're going to want to consider before you buy a house in that community, to make sure that that's something that you can do if that is something that you want to do. And another thing to consider about the HOA fees is the more amenities that you have within the community, the higher that your fees are going to be. A lot of these communities will have golf, or they'll have a clubhouse. They have a community pool, pickleball. Really depends on what neighborhood you want to be in and what kind of amenities that you want. And of course, those kinds of perks do come with a bigger price tag. And another thing to consider with these HOAs, so even if you get a house in these luxury communities and you pay the monthly HOA, some of them actually require you to have a membership to the clubhouse, a social membership. And that comes with a high initiation fee on some of these. So that's something that you're going to want to know and consider before you purchase a house in that community. Depending on the community that you want to be in, the initiation fees range from anywhere between $5,000 to $100,000 just for the initiation fee. And then that doesn't include your additional fees, monthly fees, that do not include the HOA fees. You'll have your HOA fees, your initiation fees, and then your monthly membership fees. Some of the luxury communities, the HOA fees can be over $1,000, and then some of them, are around 200 pesos. It just depends. I wish it were pesos. I'd be buying a house there. It just depends on the community that you want to live in. There was a situation that I know of where a client bought a house in a gated community in Skyline Country Club, and one of their goals for moving there is they wanted to build onto their house, have a casita, and they wanted to be able to rent that out, kind of like an Airbnb. And permission was granted from the HOA president saying that yes, that was something that they could do. But the CCNRs actually said it wasn't allowed. So when they went to go request that this be used as an Airbnb after they had moved into the property, they weren't allowed to use it as a rental. Fortunately, it worked out because the wife didn't really want to have it as a rental anyway. The husband did, so it worked out in the wash, but something to consider when you're looking at these types of things. Another thing in these communities that have the HOA fees is that anytime you want to make any kind of adjustment to your house, you want to build on, you want to change the paint, you have to go through a very strict, rigid process to get that approved and get going. For example, I had a client that was building on to their house, and they went through the process with the permits, all the things that they had to do to get this done, and it took them about a year with the HOA to get everything, to give everything the green light. Real quick, we're gonna pause this video. If you're finding value, be sure to subscribe and like for more content. Now let's get back into it. Number 5, the luxury amenities that buyers expect to find in Tucson. So we touched on HOA fees and some amenities that you find within the HOA, like the clubhouse, the spa, a restaurant, things like that. Those are amenities that you want in a community or may not want in a community, but then there's also amenities within a luxury home that people want to buy. Now, I've seen and sold quite a few luxury homes here in Tucson, and there's some pretty cool things that I have actually seen within these homes. I think one of the most important things that I've seen that people like or that people want when they're buying a home is the views. So there's a lot of really neat architecture that shows the best view of the mountains, whether it's the sunsets, whether it's your Catalina Mountains, whether you're on the east side and you're seeing the Rincon Mountains. So you're gonna see some really amazing luxury homes with some really amazing views. Another amenity in these luxury homes is the outdoor space. I think the outdoor space of the home is just as important as the indoor space. We're talking about custom pools with waterfall grottos. You have the outdoor kitchens, the built-in fire pits. There is a house that I showed the other day that had amazing Catalina views with the pool. And then you went to the back side of the house, there was a little sidewalk that went to the back side, and there was a casita there. And the casita had its own private courtyard, its own fireplace, and it had its views of the Tortolina Mountain views and the sunsets. So this particular house had both, and the additional casita. It was just an amazing outdoor living area. I've seen some cool luxury homes that have the rooftop patios where you can have a cocktail or read a book, and you get the full 360 views of all of Tucson. In addition to the outdoor living space, you also have incredible interior features. The kitchen is very important in any home, but especially in a luxury home. In these kitchens, we're talking high-end granite, high-end appliances like Viking, like Wolf, Sub-Zero freezers. Those are important. People love those. I don't know. I don't want one, but people love them. Built-in wine fridges, built-in compartments for coffee. That was one I saw at this property that I sold, the $6.9 million one. They had all amazing Italian cabinetry. You couldn't tell it was there until you pushed the little button and the cabinet moved out, and then here's your little coffee dispenser area. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. So the things that you can find in these homes, you're gonna find a lot of imported items, Italian tile, German, Spanish, all sorts of influences outside to bring it in. Floor to ceiling windows, if you wanna see the views. There's a lot of telescoping, the telescoping glasses, you know what I mean? Telescoping, what we can just, because really the whole purpose of these luxury homes is you want to have it as comfortable as possible on the inside and really enjoy the desert on the outside. So you really incorporate the inside and the outside by having, you know, these floor to ceiling windows or these telescoping sliding glass doors. Like it's just, you know, bring the outside in and the inside out type of thing. Things that are really important to some buyers also is energy efficient homes. If you're going to the Catalinas, there are a lot of homes that are older and they have the original windows, the single pane windows. And of course, if you're in Tucson, any time of year, that's really not energy efficient. So being energy efficient is a big selling point here. Another luxury amenity is smart home automation. Your security, your windows, your speakers, overhead speakers, the blinds where you can set the blinds to a certain time and 10 o'clock the day they close and then they open back up at a certain time. I mean, pretty cool. Another great one is lighting, and there is a trend going on right now with floating cabinets. So you have your floating cabinets in the bathroom or you have a floating island in your kitchen, and underneath it they have lighting that definitely elevates the look in your house. Along with the kitchen being one of the most important parts of the house, you also have the bedroom, the primary bedroom, and the bathrooms. And those are just as much of a selling point. In most homes, people like the tiled showers, they like a soaking tub, they like a jetted tub. But in a luxury home, these features are elevated. So I'm gonna explain this one bathroom to you. I probably cannot put it into words. It's a $6.9 million house that sold in Dove Mountain. And it was an incredible bathroom. It had your marble tile when you walked in. The shower was actually in the middle of the bathroom, and it was glass all the way around. It had all the features on the inside where you could steam it. You had the rain shower, of course, here. All these features that you want in a shower. So it may seem kind of weird to have like a glass shower in the middle of the bathroom, but it's your bathroom. It's a private bathroom, and it's so beautiful the way that they had it done. They had one section on the side for the wife, the other section on the side for the husband, and all the features that were associated with it were incredible. Then it had its own soaking tub, and it was by a window where you could see out and you could see the Tortolita Mountains. And of course, because you're on a huge lot, nobody can see inside. And it felt like you could step, so you had your bathroom and the soaking tub area was on the outside, kind of, but it was covered in, so you kind of felt like you were in the desert while being able to see the desert. I can't even explain it, but bathrooms are just next level. I've seen houses that have a fireplace in there. I've seen a house that has its own sauna and steam room in the bathroom. I've sold a house that has his and her showers and his and her toilets. So if that's your kind of thing, that's available too. Other features I've seen are huge walk-in pantries, butler's kitchens, butler pantries. There was a house that I saw that had two kitchens. It had the main kitchen for the sellers when they wanted to cook, but then when they had parties, they had a separate kitchen behind it that was the butler's kitchen, where everything was prepared in there. So while they're hosting and they're having a cocktail party in their house, the person they had preparing the food could cook back there, prepare all the food, prepare the dishes, wash the dishes, everything so it kept the rest of the house neat and in order. So that was a pretty cool feature. A lot of these luxury homes have casitas. Casitas are a very high selling point in the luxury market. Everybody wants their family to come in. But remember that some HOAs do not allow Airbnbs or rentals for your casita. Number 6, financing a luxury home. There's some things that you need to know. Buying a home often means jumbo loans, cash offers, or creative financing solutions. Let's talk a little bit more about it. Something you need to know when you're financing luxury homes is what's called a jumbo loan. Jumbo loans are different than conventional loans because when you reach a certain price point, conventional financing options aren't available. There's a certain price point where a conventional loan will no longer provide a financing option and you have to go to a jumbo loan. So basically what that means is there are stricter requirements to get the loan, including a better credit score, a heftier down payment, and a lot more things that you're going to have to provide to the lender. It's important to work with a lender who is experienced in luxury transactions. And if you are buying a $1 million home, you generally have to put between 20 to 30% down on a jumbo loan. So that's about a $300,000 down payment. So that is something to consider. And the higher the price, of course, the larger down payment that you're going to have to put down. They say cash is king, but it's not required. An important thing to note is that a lot of sellers who are selling their luxury homes require a buyer to have their proof of funds up front before they will allow you into the home. This is something that your realtor and you should technically know and discuss before you even begin the home search process, but just be aware that that is a requirement from a lot of sellers. The Tucson luxury market is still very competitive, so it's important to have your financing options in place before you begin looking at homes. Number 7, work with a luxury specialist. Spoiler alert, that's me. The Tucson luxury market is unique. You want an agent who knows the ins and outs of the market and these neighborhoods. You want an agent who's connected to other agents, the contractors, and the community. My experience has been able to help clients negotiate smart deals, find the best properties, even off-market ones, and make the entire process smooth and stress-free. One thing to note about these luxury properties here in Tucson is that we sell a lot of our luxury properties off-market. So it's important to find an agent who is connected with that luxury community. When you work with me, I like to ensure that the only stress you have is choosing between a golf membership or going to the spa. So there you have it, the 7 things you must know before buying a luxury home here in Tucson, Arizona. If you're thinking about starting your luxury home search here in Tucson, schedule a consultation with me. All my contact information is in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.